The reality of it is you've been trying to live in the space in between I'm perfectly fine, doing good, well, and happy, and discontent, dissatisfied. I don't have what I need, and I'm trying to find it. These two extremely opposite states of mind, these two extremities separated by a host of other presentations in between them. You think you're the only one, possibly, who can successfully pull it off. You can be searching for your happiness, seeking for your peace, one that you don't even understand and couldn't define if asked to, but also be satisfied, pleasant, kind, polite, and under the impression that everything is perfectly fine and will always be. If everything is perfectly fine and will always be, then what is it that you spend all day in your head trying to figure out, trying to solve, trying to beat? You're trying to win in life. Who are you playing against? When was the coin toss? Who's the home team? Who's away? What's the score? How do you score? How do you score in life? How are you even tallying up and keeping track? Except for by the things that you put value on and the definitions of life and men and women and what you say people should have by the time they've arrived at the stage of life that you are in. But who are you to define life for everybody? If you were created by the same one that I was created by and the same one that everyone was created by, but you had forgotten, you had entered the darkness, walked inside of illusions and ignorance for years, just like me and just like everybody else, then how is it that somehow deep inside of you lays on reserve the answer to life for everybody? You ain't figured life out for you yet. You haven't gotten a grip of your own relatives yet. You haven't maintained good management of your friends for 30 days. And yet you're always on the phone or in front of somebody's face telling them how they can better manage their situation. You're like a 12-year-old whose chores are never done, but you're always trying to tell everybody else what to do, or always trying to tell on everybody else for what they have not done. Never even stopping to realize that every time you open your mouth and point the finger at somebody else, it's an invitation to the conviction of what you have left undone. The way you conduct yourself is based on the way you think. The way you think is based largely on the things that you've been through. The things that you've been through are based largely on the things that you were thinking at that time and the things that other people were under the influence of around you that you partner with. Because nobody can plant in your garden but you. So you can have the most toxic family unit that there is in the world. But if you have identified the truth of yourself, partner with I am, there is nothing inside of their illusions and toxicity that could bother you, harm you, or cause you to suffer. There are so many words that we have applied definitions to that are just inaccurate, and happiness is one of them. The way we define happiness is super conditional, and happiness is just as unconditional as love is. Happiness is just as much of a choice as love is. It's not a ooey gooey feeling on the inside that you get when you see someone. That's probably obsession, and that's probably gonna have you sad one day, but that's a conversation for a whole nother time. Right now, we're talking about the space in between me pretending to be happy and me being so discontent with everything around me, even myself, that I'm constantly inside of an inner conversation trying to find ways that I believe have accurate power to take me to a better version of myself. You do understand that you were created perfect. There is no better version of yourself than the original copy. You do understand that, right? You do understand that you, yourself, your design, your makeup, your nature, your character is not flawed. Your belief system is terribly off-centered. Your ideas of yourself, your ideas of the universe, your ideas of your source, your ideas of others is the only thing wrong with you. And that's why people like Guy Finley can come and step on the scene and say the only thing you need to do is let go. Let go of what? Let go of everything that you're holding on to, that you've misidentified yourself with when you was walking in the darkness and you didn't know who you were. You didn't know your design. You didn't know your source and your creator. You knew nothing of your purpose, nothing of your nature. So you created one for yourself. And the one that you created was largely based on what you had seen, experienced, and saw have a good effect or positive effect or popular effect for other people. So what you based your identity on, what you based your habits on, what you based your personality on, your characteristics on, your verbiage on, was never genuinely what you felt on the inside that was true to you. It was never me following the whispers on the inside and just moving in confidence on what I hear inwardly. It's always been about trends, the same trends that I tell you I don't follow. It's always been about finding something, finding happiness, finding peace, finding abundance, finding something that I'm already under the impression or I'm already in conversations with other people about having already have obtained or been freely given from my eternal Father. So which one is it? You will learn quickly if you have an eye to see and an ear to hear and you genuinely want to progress and know. You will learn quickly that you cannot trust the things that come out of your mouth even when you're talking to yourself. Not because you are such a liar, but because you have partnered so long with the ego that is desperately out to preserve the illusion of its life. The moment that you realize that the ego is nothing besides a miscreation of yours in the dark, you will disassociate with it and stop partnering with it, stop feeding it your attention, and stop fueling it the life source you that it needs to continue to seem to operate. You ever wondered why nobody else pays your ego any attention? You ever wondered why, no matter how much attention that you're getting outwardly from somebody or somebodies, typically the people who get the most attention from outward people, others is what we call them, typically they are the ones who are most convinced inwardly that they're alone. And it's because they're aware, just like I was as a kid. When I was being accepted as a kid, I had a hard time accepting the acceptance of others because my whole life was a lie. I am the son of a pastor and a teacher, but I ran the streets, sold dope and robbed houses and went to church on Sunday. The people in the streets didn't know I wasn't supposed to be in the streets. They thought I was in the same boat as them. The people in church had no idea that I was in the streets, including my mother and father for the majority of the time. And I don't say that to brag. Do you understand the conflict that you begin to live when your whole life is a fabrication? It's a lie. You lie so much that you begin to believe the contents of the misdirected statements that you give others. You have to pretend to believe them in order to deliver them accurately. If you're going to lie accurately, if such a concept exists, you have to pretend that it's true. So you have to become emphatic about it. You have to partner with it. You have to give it a lot of attention. You have to give it your creative power. And as you create this lie that's designed to entangle another, you get entangled with it because that's just naturally how things go. So are you happy? Or are you searching for your happiness? Are you whole and complete? Or are you broken and fragmented, needing to be repaired? Are you awake? Or are you constantly going in and out of sleep, so to the point that even if you do have a couple moments of consciousness, it's safe to say that for the most part, you tired. The longer we lie to ourselves, the longer we extend our stay in a motel that is not up to par with our kingdom royal heritage. You wasn't designed for struggle. And that's why it feel how it feel to you. That's why it's so frustrating. But instead of you dropping the worries, dropping the frustration, dropping what it is you concentrating on, dropping the illusion that has all of your attention, and partnering with the truth that is and always will be, whether you agree with it or not. That's why we feel the way we feel. You refuse to stop doing the very thing that is killing you. And you say you want to live. There is no space in between being happy, wanting more life, and understanding that you are here for a purpose with value and substance inside of you that if other people are not exposed to, they may never know the truth of I am in this lifetime. Because all will awaken. That's promised to us. But what are you going to do if every day of your physical existence that you could be having an impact on the global consciousness of a group of people who've forgotten their divine design and divine origin? If every day you wake up and you're focused on searching for your own definition, your own little picture of what happiness is. And the crazy thing is you've been doing that since you were a child. You've got it in your head, watching television commercials, walking through the aisle of Walmart, pulling up to McDonald's in front of the drive-thru intercom, or riding in the car, passing McDonald's after school, telling your mama you hungry and she finna tell you that you got the leftover spaghetti in the refrigerator. And in that moment, you are fully convinced that if only she would stop to McDonald's, you would be happy for the rest of the night, the rest of your life. You honor and cherish her. You take care of all of your chores. You get all A's. And even if she do stop, a week later, she probably gonna be whooping you for the old and the new. She's probably gonna have reminded you to take the trash out again. And you'll be passing Burger King under the impression 2 weeks later that if she'd only stopped at Burger King, you'd be the happiest little boy, little girl in the world. And she'd never have to tell you to do your chores again. And you'd honor and cherish her for the rest of her life. And then you started dating. And if only little Susie or little Timmy would get right, lock in, and agree to spend the rest of their life with you, you'd be happy. But the fact that they won't, it's left you sad and depressed until you bump into little Jeremiah or little Marie. And now you're fully convinced this time, for real this time. Because you've learned how to see through a new lens, because that pain made you new. That pain made you different. Understand, pain ain't shit. But something that you entertain in your head as you operate from the fantasy land that you've created for yourself out of the illusionary comfort that you seek day in and day out. Pain is not even real. People say things, hurtful things to you. People do hurtful things to you. People pick up and leave out of your life after being in your life and telling you that they want to spend the rest of their life with you. And Does it hurt? Did it hurt when they walked out of the door? Or did you have to go inside of yourself and tell yourself that this meant now that you had to start all over, and you hate starting over, and all you know is this person? You know you weren't no virgin when you met this person. Stop flagging. But we get in our emotions. We don't really care so much for the facts because we're searching for a feeling, a familiar feeling of discomfort, a familiar feeling of discomfort that leads me to needing to find my own peace and happiness again. Understand we've been on this wheel, operating in the space between happiness and depression, happiness and bitterness, happiness and discontent for a long time. And it's because we're really, really conditional with what we say we are. My identity is happiness. Even if conditionally I'm experiencing chaos. And my identity is happiness under the experience of chaos, because I understand that any chaos I'm experiencing, I created. And if I created it, I can destroy it. And if I destroy it with right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, I can put in its place something that is beneficial and sufficient for my experience. Why wouldn't I be happy? Why wouldn't I be happy that all power is in my hands? Not because I'm deserving of it or because I've worked out so much spiritually or physically, but because it's the way the universe was designed to turn and the way I was designed to operate and in dominion over it. The world is yours, Chico, and everything in it. Ain't that what Tony said? Learn how to find truth in everything. I can't.